Hello and welcome to another episode of EPLW. I'm Joe. Subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss a live stream again. On this week's show, Arsenal's demolition of Leeds. Leeds are falling apart again. West Brom's swashbuckling performance against a disgusting Man United. Awful. Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Fantasy Premier League tips from Daniele De Rossi. Yes, Roberto Baggio. Ros, I want you to start thinking of players with first names for surnames, all right? A la Craig David, right? So his surname could be a first name. And that's going to be our 11 to end the show. And if you're watching and have any suggestions, comment in the live chat. And as always, if you want to talk to us about anything or keep updated, follow us at EPLW Pod on Twitter. Okay, alongside me, Ros, Mus, and our special guest, Man United fan, who's going to get an absolute roasting today, Timmy. How are we doing, lads? I want you all to introduce yourselves and tell the viewers one thing you can't wait to talk about today on EPLW. Tim, you first.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Joe. I'm still proud to wear the jersey, so it's got to be done. What am I looking forward to talking about? It's got to be Arsenal match, I think. I saw the goals, and it's about time they won a game.
Brilliant. Mus, looking very nicely, cleanly shaven there, mate. You had a shave for this one?
Yeah, cheers, Joe. Yeah, well, we had that bet, didn't we, where I wouldn't shave until Aubameyang scored. So
yeah. Fair play. So have you had 3 shaves today then?
Essentially, yeah, 3 shaves in one. So yeah, evening all. I'm Mus, Arsenal season ticket holder. I'm looking forward to trashing Chelsea in Matt's absence, as we always do. But no, just more seriously, yeah. It's been quite an exciting game week. Arsenal, Wolves, Burnley, some really good results.
Cool. And last but by no means least, Roberto Baggio, Daniele De Rossi. If you can think of any more, please tell me. Send me a comment or a tweet, because I'm just going to keep rolling out these names every week. Ros.
How's it going? Yeah, what a day. I was hungover again. Millwall won for the second week in a row. Very unlike us. But what a day of football. It's perked me right up. What I want to get into is Manchester United and the fact that their captain and their manager both had the cheek to suggest after the game that they had been on the wrong end of refereeing decisions this season.
Interesting point. I like it. Okay, let's get straight into it. And we're going to start at the Emirates. Arsenal 4, Leeds 2. What did you make of the game? Timmy, you said you were looking forward to talking about this one, so we'll get you in there. What did you make of the game today?
I thought the penalty decisions were spot on. The one penalty either. I thought it was a good game. I thought Leeds played well, bless them. But they just defensively, they just went up to scratch.
No, they weren't.
I mean,
the
possession itself went Leeds' way. They had 54 against Arsenal's 45. So I think it's just they got unlucky. Shots on target, both each had 5. I mean, what do you think about it?
What do I think? Oh, well, I'm very happy as an Arsenal fan. I actually predicted that we'd struggle in this one, and I went for a crazy prediction of 4-4 yesterday when Ros and I did the game week preview. And I was like, oh, this might happen. And it's when the commentator said something like, it's almost 10 years to the day that Arsenal gave up a 4-0 lead against Newcastle. I was a bit scared. Mus, have Arsenal got what it takes to challenge for the top 4? Before you jump in there, hang on a minute. Let me just tell you, after that win, they're 6 points off of the top 4. Arsenal are only 6 points off the top 4. Do they have what it takes to challenge for the top 4 this season?
No, I don't think so, unfortunately. I think they're still some way off. I guess we'll get to talking about top 4 when we touch on Liverpool, but I think 3 of the 4 spots are sewn up, and there's one space to fight for, and I think Arsenal will just miss out. But Joe, I actually missed the first 2/3 of the game. Who scored Leeds' second goal?
I can't remember. Who was it?
Held Costa.
Yeah, no, I know Ros, but who scored the second goal? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I actually ordered that just to make that little joke.
You just held at Costa, didn't you? I get it. This is very good.
Welcome, Tim.
Welcome.
The puns are out.
Yeah. This is Muss's modus operandi. Is pundus operandi. Ros, what's a good season for Leeds?
Well, you know, they're back where they belong, aren't they? If you ask a Leeds fan, a good season for Leeds is getting to the semi-final of the Champions League, because they're a top European club, having never actually won the trophy. They're a top English club, only having won the league twice, and having spent just as much time in the lower divisions as the top flight. Wonderfully disillusioned club there.
Triggered straight away.
Sorry. That wasn't even like the planned fact that I had about Leeds. I've got these in abundance, mate. A good season, I would say 10th, 11th for any club that's coming up. It's incredible, like, watching the game. There was a point where Alan Smith, I think, summed up Leeds perfectly, and also my hatred of the media's lushings over Leeds as well, which was that when Leeds concede a goal, they take the ball back to the centre circle and they kick off as if it was 0-0. That's what everyone loves about them, right? The fact that they just always play to score. It's not how football works. It's incredibly naive. You have to pick your moments in football. You have to be aware of the opposition that you're up against and the qualities that you're up against. And I'm not a revolutionary like Marcelo Bielsa. You know, I'm not a philosopher like Marcelo Bielsa. I'm certainly not one of the top 5 managers in the world, according to some FIFA award thing like Marcelo Bielsa. But I do know it's much easier to actually get a result in a football match if you don't concede 4 goals in 47 minutes.
Okay, right.
It's such a good game.
I'll stop the compliment train there, Ros, if you don't mind. Remember, if you're watching this, drop a like on the video. Get in the comments if you agree or disagree with anyone, or if you want to hear any of Ros's fantastic impressions. And also tweet us at EPLW Pod. Let's get on then to West Brom Man United, 1-1 at the Hawthorns. And for me personally, this game was the highlight was watching Harry Maguire try and play football. It was ridiculous. He looked like someone who, honestly, and I'm not just saying this to roast you, Timmy, as a United fan, but man, my goodness. Harry Maguire looked like someone who hasn't played football before today at the Hawthorns.
I mean, he's not the most attractive chap, and he's not the most attractive footballer when you watch him play. Okay, but he does get the job done every now and again.
Every now and again, maybe.
He's still England centre back.
Well, I don't know at this rate, mate. Like his touch was awful, and like the way he took,
I'm not disagreeing with you. He
sacked Diagne a couple of times, didn't he? Like it was like watching NFL the way he brought Diagne down. I can't believe they didn't get a pen for that. Anyway, yeah, Man United's defending is essentially what I'm getting at. Him and Lindelof. People have a go at David Luiz every week. I'm so used to that, but I don't think Maguire's much better. Discuss, Timmy.
Well, I reckon you're probably right on defensive and fair, Jay. I mean, we are weak in defence. Weak. You can tell by the first goal, the second minute. I'm going to give a shout out for a foul. I reckon it should come to VAR. I know you might say, Man United's for, of course, it's not a goal, a foul, it should be a foul. But what I'm saying is, if you actually watch the goal, he takes his face out. He grabs his face as he's going for the ball. He gets a better angle at it when he scores. It's a good header, but he literally covers the defender's face as he's doing it. It's like doing peekaboo. Hello, can you see the ball? As he's pushing it in. But West Brom did play well. They played rough. They got 5 yellow cards. There was only 5 yellow cards in the game. I feel bad for basically us as Man United supporters.
Oh, the whole country weeps with you, Tim. It must be so hard being a Man United fan.
I mean, you can tell by Bruno scoring the goal.
Yeah,
it was a good goal.
Bruno's been an outstanding player this season. He's definitely in the running for player of the season. He just needs to hit some consistency. I think he's a bit on and off, isn't he? But I'm going to go to Ros because he looked like he wanted to make a point there towards you, Timmy.
I mean, surely Lindelof firstly has to be stronger there, regardless if there's hand in the face or not. I'd also point to Harry Maguire going down like he'd been sniped in the box. and then moaning for the interview afterwards saying, well, I thought it was a penalty. You know, you have to be strong from that defence.
Yeah, you do.
As a captain, you couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery unless it's in Greece, maybe. But I mean, it's just an absolutely. Man United will not mount the title challenge with this defence.
That's all we've got at the moment. So it's all we've got at the moment. So we've got to use them. Unfortunately,
no,
unless we put Eric in.
Just flashed out £80 million on a defender. That's all you've got.
True.
You're bare buds. But I'd also say, on your yellow cards point, you're sort of suggesting that, you know, West Brom played rough. I support a club that's we have a lot of sort of upsets. And what I find with an upset, if a club with a less expensive calibre of player gets a result at a club that has some sort of divine right to win, like a Man United or whatever, overnight, every single fan of that big club suddenly turns into a philosopher and an advocate for free-flowing football because they play prehistoric football. They sort of foul. They put 10 men behind the ball. It was, you know, they just came for a draw, and they sort of, you know, you have to be aware, like I said, Leeds, what you're up against. I'm just bored with Man United fans.
Wow.
I'm bored with the way we're playing, if I'm quite honest.
Timmy,
So,
I hope
being bored of me is like, go on.
I hope you want to come back after this, mate. We're gonna have to move on, but we're gonna have to move on just because we don't want to go down a Man United hole. So we're gonna move on to talking about Leicester's triumphant victory over the flailing Liverpool. Just leave them alone. Leave Liverpool alone. They've taken enough beatings. Mus, what did you make of the game yesterday?
I thought Liverpool started off really well. They had kind of Leicester's makeshift wing backs pinned back. They were moving the ball forward faster, playing long passes quicker from the back, and that meant Ricardo Pereira couldn't attack as much, and Salah kept getting in behind him. But then in the second half, and I guess it's noteworthy that Klopp had dropped Thiago Alcantara and started with Milner, and I'll come back to that. But unfortunately, Milner had to go off injured. And when Thiago came on, the midfield was just kind of ham-fisted, really like clumsy, no creativity. And Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold were very earnest, like kind of over-eager, and maybe trying too hard. Even in that, for the Liverpool goal, it comes from Trent miscuing across, and then the ball rebounds, and then he passes it to Bobby Firmino. And I feel like he's just not finding his that instinct from last season,
Right.
where he would find the man first time round.
Yeah.
It's kind of lacking, and they got a bit lucky. Obviously, the goal was a thing of beauty eventually. But it's always down to the front three to almost try and manufacture the chance out of near nothing coming from the rest of the team. So then it all obviously changed in the course of 6-7 minutes, and by the end, Leicester deserved it. Liverpool crumbled too easily. But going back to Thiago, it just made me think of Joe. You and I often play with gentlemen of a certain age, but he just looked like a player who's used to playing with seniors. And then because like that drop shoulder move, those little shimmies just weren't working. They don't give you that extra yard of space against like Ndidi or players of that athleticism. And it was just quite sad, really.
Yeah, making me miss five-a-side there, Mus. I've got to say, but my heart bleeds for Liverpool fans as well. Do Liverpool get the top four this season?
It's in question now, isn't it? I think it will go. You know when they bring up those statistics about points and goals against the top six, they always bring it up in these kind of clashes. Arsenal all the time because they had such a poor record for a long time. I think it will go down to those kind of results. You can't expect to not get results against the sides that you're competing with there. And expect to kind of finish above them. The top four is so interesting now. I think the title's wrapped up. I personally think the relegation battles wrapped up. So effectively, that's sort of
Can you
what they want to
clarify?
go for this season.
Can you quickly clarify that the championships wrapped?
Yeah,
the,
top four.
The Premier League's wrapped up, as in you're saying Man City have won it, and the bottom, the relegation, you're saying is nailed on.
Will stay the same.
So West Brom,
I think they
Fulham,
will
Sheffield
definitely
United. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And Tim, I've actually just seen a comment on the live feed. It says I'm slightly offended by the red shirt in the bottom left corner, by the way, and that's from Jack. So I don't know if that's someone you know or something, just trolling you. But
Jack is a Blackburn supporter, so no, I'm not offended because I haven't seen them play for a while.
The original Glory Hunter team, Blackburn, when they had all the money. Jack, you can't say anything back. You're watching this. No, I'm joking. Right, okay. Yeah, Timmy, I stuck up for you there, seeing as you're a newest member to the EPLW team. Okay, yeah. What next for Leicester then, Timmy? They've sort of consolidated top four. Will they have a challenge? Will they have a challenge for the title in coming seasons?
Well, firstly, thank you for having my back, Joe. That's the first for something. To be fair, Vardy's on fire. It's like watching him when Leicester won the season last. He is on form, and he's got some players around him that are really playing at their top rate at the moment. So yeah, I see them in the top four. Obviously, I don't know who's going to be in the top four. I'd be interested to know who everyone else thinks, but obviously, I put a better Man United being on top four. Leicester definitely. Man City's going to win it. I think the fourth position is going to go between Liverpool and Chelsea.
Interesting. Quickly, agree or disagree, Mus?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Chelsea's the wild card game in hand, and too cool for school.
And there it is again. That was fundamentally perfect. Ros, do you agree? Disagree? What's your
I slightly agree, but I think the kind of wild card's actually Manchester United. I would say that the form that the Tuchel's shown, the quality of their squad and players they have, I would say they're actually standing a better chance at this stage of mounting a top four challenge than Man United, who have obvious cracks.
So you're saying the fourth spot is between Liverpool and Man United. No one thinks Arsenal. Disgraceful. Okay, let's move on. If you're watching this, remember, like the video, subscribe, get in the comments, allow notifications so you never miss when we go live. And you can tweet us, as always, at EPLW Pod. Man City beat Spurs 3-0 yesterday. 2 quick points on this. I won't make you talk about City, Timmy. We'll go to Mus on this one. City are unstoppable, aren't they? And is Gundogan, is he making a claim for Player of the Season?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's one of like 2 or 3 outstanding performers this year. Helped, of course, by say injuries to De Bruyne, but he's really stepped up. And I keep thinking he's going to run out of steam. So I've been really stubborn and not brought him into my FPL team. And I'm living to regret that week by week because he just keeps getting those attacking returns. And yeah, right now he's probably favourite for Player of the Year.
Yeah, we'll come on to fantasy stuff with you, Ross, won't we? But it is interesting how Gundogan's gone from playing the 4 to taking that 8 role, if you like, or even a 10. He's like an 8-10 hybrid. A dynamic 10, as we might like to call him. I love throwing out all these terms. Maybe one of them will like stick and people start using them. Yeah, Ros, what do you reckon?
So, that's why I missed yeah, I mean, he's sort of. I would say he's closer to a 10 than an 8 personally. He's sort of making those runs into the box. His finishing is unreal unless it's from the penalty spot. And this whole thing with Pep rotating his squad, I'm like Mus, not to go into fantasy too soon, but I'm with Mus in that I have kind of been holding back on him because you expect Pep to kind of rotate constantly. Sterling is being rotated a lot more than Gundogan. Gundogan has played a consistent run of games. So yeah, he's probably their most important player at the moment.
I read somewhere he's the top goal scorer across the European leagues since January the 1st.
Wow.
So how about that for a stat attack? Okay, like this video if you're enjoying what you're seeing. Remember to subscribe and allow notifications so you never miss a stream. It's time to talk fantasy tips. Roz, who was the king of the game week so far, and who should we be having in our team, and who shouldn't we be having? Who's done well?
The aforementioned Ilkay Gundogan, who I didn't have in my squad this week and I'm regretting deeply. Huge week even in the fantasy league because he had a double game week. Fulham, Burnley, Man City, and Everton, all with 2 games. I think a lot of people would have kind of gone for those players. And so far, those players have done them well. If you went for Burnley defenders, if you went for Manchester City defenders, both teams there getting clean sheets. A word about Matthew Loughton's goal, by the way, in the Burnley game, 3-0 against Palace, was absolutely superb. He's a right back. Sensational. But yeah, the likes of Loughton, the likes of Ilkay Gundogan, and of course, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who got his first hat-trick in the Premier League today, which surprised me.
Yeah, and he also hit that milestone of 200 goals in his career across all the European leagues, most of them for these boys. But okay, I'm going to give you a rundown of all of the results so far this game week, and then we're going to have a look at this week's 11s of the first name surnames. Okay, so yesterday, let's start with yesterday's game. Leicester 3, Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 0, Burnley 3, Man City 3, Tottenham 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Aston Villa 0. And then today we've had Southampton 1, Wolves 2, West Brom 1, Man United 1, Arsenal 4, Leeds 2. Everton Fulham is currently happening. Timmy, you've been keeping an eye on that one. Do you want to fill us in on what's going on so far, Everton Fulham?
It's 0-0 at the moment. To be fair, not a lot is going on. We've had hit the woodwork, and that's only 3 chances that Fulham had, and the other ones have been skyrocketed or well past the goal. It's a bit boring, if I'm quite honest, Joe. It's like watching a Sunday league football.
Can I just say that was absolutely superb? That was like Cammy at his best. On top of that.
Okay, right. So this week, lads, let's go with Mus.
Sorry, Joe. Just a quick one before we move on. Just on Burnley.
There we go.
Because there was a historical moment in that game with the first concussion substitution.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which was, of course, long for me, and that's normally how I feel watching Burnley. But as Ross said, they were a far more exciting proposition this week.
Very good, Mus. Love it, mate. We should put Mus in charge of the Twitter account, I think. Yeah. Let's give him the login details.
Don't do that.
Get those dad jokes out there, mate. Love it. And the puns. Love it. Follow Mus for dad jokes and puns. Mus, what's your Twitter handle? Do you want any followers?
Yeah, MUS113.
MUS113. There you go. Follow Mus. If anyone else wants to shout their Twitters out, I mean, you're more than welcome. But
I don't think I know mine.
No, fair enough.
Probably something really well.
No. All right, no worries. Okay, we're going to talk 11s now. Now, the 11s I asked you to do was Premier League players of all time with surnames that could perceivably be first names, also known as first name surnames. Okay, so here we go. Who's up first? Oh, here we go. Whose is this? Andy Cole up top, Thierry Henry and Michael Owen on either wing. Who's that one?
That's mine, yep.
That's you, Mus.
That's
Okay.
Yep.
So, Mus, do you want to talk us through the team? I'll read it out and then you can talk us through. So, you got David James in goal, Ashley Cole, John Terry, Gareth Barry, and Gary Neville, your centre backs, your full backs as well. Charlie Adam, Dele Alli, and Steven Gerrard in the middle. Owen and Henry either side of Andy Cole up front. Some pretty niche first names there. Do you want to talk us through?
Yeah. Well, firstly, just to say, Jack in the live chat has already preempted many of my picks, rather disappointingly. But yes, David James has to go in goal. I agree, Jack, and Thierry Henry, definitely. I had a neighbour whose first name was Cole, so I took that as license to insert Ashley Cole and Andy Cole into my teams. I steered away from Brazilians just because that's a bit of an area of controversy. Is it their first name? Is it their surname? Johnny at Wolves, for example, like he's technically Johnny Castro, right? So I just thought let's just stay clear of all of that controversy. So So those are the Coles in my team. John Terry, I think, clear cut. Gary Neville, I love the fact that his dad set the precedent, right? Neville, may God rest his soul, you know, one of a kind. I've never heard of another Neville, but that's a precedent. Good enough for me. Steven Gerrard, Dele Alli, Charlie Adam, aka Parched, if anyone listens to the Crouch podcast, and
He
Michael
loves
Owen
it.
coming in from the right.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And let's have a look at Ros Aldinho's, shall we? Not alluding to any Brazilian controversy there. So here we go. Ros's team, also David James in goal. I think he wanted Allison, but that's not his first name, is it? Ashley Cole, John Terry. Is that Michael Hector?
It is.
Reece James, Joe Cole, Rob Lee, Michael Thomas, Dan James, and then up front, Andy Cole and Michael Owen. Ooh.
Yeah. So I was struggling with this one, actually. And I think that's proven from the fact that I picked Reece James at right back instead of Gary Neville, which... But when you said that, that kind of blew my mind. But also blew my mind, or a little bit, it was kind of a turning point with me. It was when I thought of Cole Porter, the American songwriter and composer, and realised that Cole is definitely a certified first name if you're an American. So that opened up the likes of Joe Cole, the likes of Ashley Cole, and the likes of Andy Cole. And then my right wing, you've got the Jameses, you've got Reece James and Daniel James just ahead of him. Michael Hector, because I couldn't think of another centre half. But I have to say, hearing Mus's team, I'll concede defeat on this one.
Well, on that
His
note,
team would absolutely thrash mine.
Well, you haven't seen my team yet.
Barry out as well.
You haven't seen my team yet, and let me tell you, it's quite something to behold. Does anyone want to come back on Roz's team at all? There, he seems pretty defensive on it, but if you've got anything you want to. No? Okay. Right. Here's my team then, lads. I've got David James in goal. I've got Phil Neville and Gary Neville as my fullbacks. Centre backs, John Terry and David Luiz. Then in centre mid, Aaron Ramsey, Gareth Barry, Charlie Adam, Parched. In the number 10, behind the two strikers, is Robin Van Persie. And then up front, yes. What do you mean no? Up front.
Loud,
no,
is it?
You can't have a van. You can't have a van.
What? It's Percy.
No, his surname is Van Persie. I've never met a Van Persie. I've met a Percy. Never met a Van Persie.
Have you not met a Van Persie? You not?
Like reception when they were going down the register. It's like, Toby, here, miss, Van Persie.
No, right. Well, look. Come on, creative license, right? Percy. And then up top, I've gone for Michael Owen and the man who scored the first ever Premier League goal. Come on, you guys. Brian Dean.
Oh, great shout.
A little historical reference there for you. Just try and wedge in a bit of my knowledge into the show. Okay, so yeah, what do you make of that team then, lads? Apart from Roz's, not liking of Van Persie, I think that's genius shout.
How many goals has Brian Dean scored after his first one?
It's close to 100 actually. I was looking at the stats. It's 80 something, 90 something.
I just sorry, I just thought of another. I put Michael Hector in because I said I was struggling. Mus, did you have Steve Bruce? I can't remember.
No.
Oh,
so
no one had Steve Bruce.
And in tribute of our Man United fan here tonight,
I do like that shout.
Bruce?
Good shout.
That's a good shout. Great player as well.
But I mean,
very good shout.
I went for David Luiz. That's allowed, right?
Yeah.
I do like how you've gone for the homophones, Louise, Van Persie, very good.
Thank
For
you.
a bit of variety in goal, because we've all gone for David James, we could have gone for Paddy Kenny.
Oh yeah.
He was my first pick, and then I've never rated him, right? That Aguero goal, I still think it was his fault. Never forgiven him for it, so I dropped him as soon as I thought of David James.
Calamity James. I thought he would have Paddy Kenny personally, just because, Neil Warnock's best mate. Also, Henri.
Yeah, I didn't
Have
put
a
Henri
first
in.
name. You could get a Henry. I've never met an Henri, but I don't know.
It
Many
is a
French.
very French name, though. I know a few Henry.
Is it a
Henrys.
first name? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
think
definitely.
there's a footballer, Henri Camara, right? Do you remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or like,
Fulham, right? Henry Camera.
yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Cool.
so
One of those.
in the comments, we've actually had someone asking. This is not happening, by the way. Is can Ros do a Bielsa impression?
I can do that because all you need to do is whenever you're talking to someone, you just like look straight at the floor because you lack any kind of social interaction skills. So you're just really rude and you just look at the floor and then you wait for someone else to say something.
I'm not going to do
and then
this.
you wait for someone else to say something and then you say something and they're like the longest interviews in the world. You can also do a thing as you just did, Joe,
Yeah.
where you crouch, then you stand up, then you walk about 5 meters, then you walk back about 5 meters, and then you crouch, and then the crowd goes wild and the press go, oh, but he's just so like incredible, he's such a philosopher. He just sort of the way he walks, the way he crouches, the way he points. Oh,
I'll say this in his defense. I wish I could squat like that when I'm 65 years old. That takes some doing.
Oh well, look. That kind of brings us
Go
to
on,
the.
Joe, do a squat.
That brings us to the end of the show. I've done my squats today, thank you, Timmy. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining us, Tim, and thanks for repping the football shirts, lads. Timmy, do you want to give a little shout about your one behind you?
Yeah, this is Macclesfield Town FC. I got it as a third division for my sister. We actually got relegated down from third division to fourth division that season. So it's more of a rest in peace shirt. Do you know what I mean? It's got its place in my home, and it will only be worn for 5-a-side.
Well, thanks for coming along, mate.
Beautifully
No,
close
thank you for
to
having me.
it's beautifully close to an old Millwall top, so that won me over a bit.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, Timmy. It's great to have you along. Mus, do you want to talk us through your shirts and stuff?
Yeah, I thought I'd celebrate a return of the Champions League this week, although technically outside of the scope of this show. But you've got Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and Besiktas, I think.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Ros.
Is that because you knew there was a Man United fan coming on?
To whack the old intro out. I
Thanks
did spot it in the corner of my eye. Hang on a second. What's that one behind that one?
Besiktas.
That was Besiktas, yeah. Okay, well, thanks for coming along, guys. It's been a great show, as usual. And if you've enjoyed what you're seeing, like the video, subscribe to this channel so you never miss a beat, and allow notifications so you always know when we're going live. As always, get in the comments, let us know what you think, what you've been up to, and you can join Ros and myself tomorrow at 5 p.m. for a preview of the remaining games this week. Thank you very much for coming along, guys. See you later.
0-0 still.
See you later.